guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about your unpopular opinions. I'm going to react to all of the unpopular opinions that you guys left on my community tab. And this is long overdue. I do apologize for the delay. I literally posted this over a week ago. And I said, oh, I'm going to film it this weekend. And then filmed other stuff that weekend. And then the week went by and I was working on other stuff. And then this past weekend was just jam-packed. So I appreciate your patience. But we're here now. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm going to go in no particular order. There are 72 comments on here, but I know that I replied to a couple of them, so this will probably be a long video, but I'm going to try to get to the point, not ramble super long. Yeah, so let's just start from the top. The first one says, I like being alone. Generally, the more I like someone, the more I need at least some time alone from them. I've actually talked about this in passing before a really long time ago, how specifically speaking about relationships, time apart is vital. And I know that there are a ton of couples out there that just are Velcroed at the hip and they do every single thing together. Like if you invite this person to dinner, their spouse or their significant other is absolutely coming with them, whether or not you invited the spouse. And that might work for some people, but yeah, I love having time apart, even away from like friends and stuff like that. I feel like there's more to talk about when you have a little bit of a break. It also, depending on what you're doing, because for me, like I love shopping by myself because I don't want somebody to be bothering me and be bored or whatever. So I love to shop alone. And it allows you to be comfortable with being with yourself. And that's something I was pretty bad at when I was young. And I mean, I'm as if I'm, 60 years old. I'm not that old yet. But when I was in my teens and 20s, like my early 20s, I was really, really bad at spending time by myself until I went through my very first breakup and it forced me to be alone. That period of time when I was single, when I went through my first breakup, it really forced me as someone who was in their early 20s to get comfortable going out by myself and, flying alone. Like I had never done that before, staying in a hotel by myself. And even though I was only single for a short period of time, I feel like that was all the time that I really needed to actually see it's okay to go get lunch alone. Like I was always one of those people who was like, I don't want to be that person that's sitting in a restaurant all alone and just having my meal by myself. I felt like I would stick out like a sore thumb. Fact of the matter is, most people that are out day to day running errands or simply existing, they are not paying attention to somebody who is traveling alone, shopping alone, having lunch by themselves. They're not focused on that. And if they are super focused on you, then maybe there's another reason for that. But most people are not, sitting in the restaurant, like staring at every single person that's eating by themselves. Most people don't care.
Loneliness will teach you more about yourself than anything else in this world will. More people need to spend time alone. I spent 2 years completely alone. I was eating at restaurants by myself. I was hiking by myself. I was camping by myself. And what that made me do was learn to love myself and love my own company. That way I didn't need acceptance from other people. I didn't care what other people thought because all I need at the end of the day is myself.
That was a very long-winded way to say I completely agree. And I think that it's vital to healthy relationships and friendships to do that sometimes. Doesn't have to be all the time, but at least once in a while to like break apart and spend a weekend apart or an overnight, or even if it's just a few hours during the day, my opinion. So Next one. There shouldn't be advertisements of any kind about alcohol. It's just as damaging as cigarettes, probably even more. And yet it's dangerously normalized. Bravo. This is one that I responded to. I could not agree with this more. I have had really in-depth conversations, especially with one of my old colleagues who I'm still very close with her now. If you think about companies, specifically corporate America, happy hours and drinking alcohol is so normalized. It's almost like part of the business. It's part of getting to know your colleagues and oh, it's so and so's birthday. Oh, we're going to go to happy hour. Oh, so and so is leaving or so and so just got hired. Let's go do a happy hour. And not everybody likes to drink alcohol. And whether it's just a personal preference or if it's something deeper, whether it be they had issues with alcohol or maybe they lost a friend or a family member due to a drunk driver, no matter what their reason is, it's valid. And it's a little alarming how normalized society has made drinking alcohol, and not just drinking, but drinking heavily. If you have I've talked about wine mom culture before. I'll actually link that video down below because it wasn't too long ago. But you have these people that are celebrating drinking 5 to 6 nights a week. And I'm no professional, but if you're drinking, 4 or 5 drinks 5 to 6 nights a week, I don't know how sustainable that's going to be for the long term. Obviously, aside from the drinking and driving and all of that, the health risks are huge when it comes to consuming alcohol. So yes, I completely agree with this 110%. And on top of the advertisements, I think as a society, like, to encourage social drinking, and it's almost like if you go out to a work happy hour and you're the one not drinking, there will definitely be questions asked. And that's something that has always bothered me. You don't need to ask people, oh, why aren't you drinking? Oh, don't you want to have a drink? Oh, just have one drink. Come on. Like, we're all, ordering the first round. Like, you have plenty of time to sit and then we'll get food. So you're not going to be buzzed and driving. I've heard every excuse under the sun. And if somebody doesn't want to drink, kick rocks, dude. Why is it affecting you? Do you think people are, quote, more fun when they're under the influence of alcohol? Because if that's your mindset, then I think you have a lot to learn. Okay, next comment. Creators shouldn't be allowed to speak, post, tag, harass a subscriber just because they follow, comment, and support someone that they don't like. And then she shouts out 2 different channels. MMC, I don't know who MMC is, but Mad Nutter slash MMC. I think that's 2 different creators, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so let's talk about this because it sucks because I've had subscribers leave me comments, or more often what happens is they'll send me a DM or an email and say, I really like your content. I like what you're doing, but I don't want to be attacked in the comments by people that don't like you or have basically the haters like zone into my comment or anything like that. I've always said I will never sit on my channel and encourage or make people pick a side. I will give you my opinions and we will have a discussion about toxic YouTubers or problematic YouTubers. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, if you follow so-and-so, get off my channel. If you like so-and-so's content, then I think that you're a piece of trash. That's just not who I am, because I don't care who watches who. If you're watching somebody who I think is problematic, and I have voiced that on videos, Maybe one day you'll see things from my seat, maybe you won't, but it is not affecting me to have somebody watching my videos and somebody's videos that I wouldn't watch personally or I don't support. Why on earth would I even waste an ounce of energy thinking about what my subscribers are doing when they're not on my channel? I want you to watch my videos and leave me a like and, maybe a comment. I'm focused on my channel and what I'm doing over here and hoping that I can continue to grow my audience. Why on earth would anyone even be looking on someone else's channel to pick out comments? I say quite often, some people need to get a hobby, and I think that it applies to a lot of different things I see on social media. Okay, next comment. When you stay to yourself, it's easier to avoid drama versus if you have a whole group of friends or quote friends, less personalities equals dealing with less of people's hangups or dramas. It's okay to hang out alone. There is nothing wrong with you for doing so. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I completely agree with this. Being comfortable enough to be with yourself is a huge stepping stone in, becoming kind of, a functioning person in society, because there's not always going to be someone that wants to go get dinner with you or be available to go on a weekend trip, or maybe somebody doesn't have the money to go do what you want to do. So being comfortable with yourself is huge. And I would agree. I mean, less people, less drama is a very simple way to describe it. But yeah, when you have a bunch of personalities, and I think that way, even with like online friendships, I constantly see these alliances, and then like these alliances dissolve and disintegrate. And I've had a few learning opportunities during my time on YouTube, and now I just keep to myself. Are there people that I don't like and I don't have an ounce of respect for? Absolutely. But as far as forming alliances and doing anything like that, no. If I talk to you, I talk to you. If I don't, I don't. But it's very interesting to just see how venomous and toxic some people can be. Online, I feel like it happens quickly. Definitely happens in real life too, but as the saying goes, most of these people that say these things online would never say it to your face if they saw you in real life. Next, unpopular opinion. I hate the whole AI situation, all of it. I completely agree. I just did a video about AI and how it's being used negatively when it comes to people that are sharing their children on social media, and how AI can take a photo and a quick little video or a sound clip and do whatever they want with it. It is super duper scary. And unfortunately, I think that as technology continues to progress, online safety is going to become a bigger conversation, which is probably a really good thing. But it is super scary what technology can do and the negative ways that some people will use it. I love technology. I said that in my other video. I love all the things that it can do, and kind of some ways that it can make life a little easier. But it also has a ton of downsides. And if you're somebody who doesn't take internet safety seriously, or you think, oh, it won't happen to me, everyone's just, being an alarmist by telling me to not share my kid on social media, I think there's going to be some lessons learned. And hopefully within those lessons, the conversation about online safety only gets louder. Next, Gabby Hannah's music is underrated. She's not taken seriously due to her past, but I think that she's a great singer. Just needs to improve her throaty approach to singing and sing more from the diaphragm. It allows less tension in her vocals. Gabby Hannah is a good singer, and I think she's also a good example of how your public image can really completely wreck anything else that you have going for you. You could be a really talented singer, but if you show everybody that your public image is what she showed us, then people aren't going to continue to say, oh, well, she's a really good singer, even though she did XYZ. Oh, but she has a really good voice, but she did XYZ. Eventually, the bad outweighs the good or the talent, and people just stop caring. Someone said there's no good music, no good popular music released since the year 2000. I think the 2000s had some decent stuff, but I do understand that comment. When people call themselves an influencer, but their way of influencing is posting a few meaningless words a few times a week to inspire, I mean, at this point, I don't even know who wants to call themselves an influencer, because being an influencer has such a negative and nasty, I don't know, like I would never want to be labeled as an influencer, but I also realize that some people care about those labels and something that they seek. Twitter, I hate Twitter. It's noisy and overwhelming, and I have no patience to read long-winded threads. I'm sorry, Twitter friends. I've never had Twitter. I've never liked Twitter. I think that it's a toxic cesspool. I have always thought that way, and I've had no interest in using the app. I know that some people like Twitter. I don't. I think it's toxic, and I'm not here for it. And someone else said that Colleen Ballinger has a very good singing voice, but obviously she's still a groomer. Yeah, that's Colleen Ballinger has a good voice, but it's kind of like what I said with Gabby Hannah, same thing. When you're such an awful person, it's literally near impossible to even get people to recognize that you have anything positive to offer, because you have been exposed to such an awful human being. Tipping culture has gotten out of hand and needs to be abolished. People shouldn't judge others based on if they tip or not. Time to throw away tipping entirely. It's gotten out of hand. I partially agree with this and I partially disagree with it. I've always said that there are certain jobs that they rely on tips in order to pay their own bills. And if I'm going out to a restaurant and I'm dining and I'm happy with the service, I'm going to leave that person a good tip, because I know that waiters rely on tips as a way to take care of themselves. The thing that I have seen is that tipping culture has also bled over into everything else that we do. Here's an example. The other day I was going in to grab a quick smoothie and, find my way out. When I was checking out, it offered for me to leave a tip. I don't know how I feel about that, because I wasn't ordering food. You're not waiting on me. I'm not staying in your establishment to be served or anything like that. And in this type of establishment, these workers get paid hourly. Waiters do not get paid in the same manner that this other establishment gets paid. So I just felt a little odd about that, because I literally stood there, waited for my smoothie, went and got my straw and left. So I just feel like the tipping thing, yes, it's going into like every single thing that's possible, like you can leave a tip for. I do understand the value of, I believe in being a good tipper. I will always leave a good tip in the right scenario. But I also don't think that like every single person is deserving of a tip. And that's where I stand on it. Next comment, this rounding up trend is annoying and out of control. Everywhere from the grocery store to Goodwill to the damn farmer's market store asking me if I want to round up. I just don't trust that it's all going to charity, and it's awkward for me as a customer. I do agree with this, and it is strictly because I don't trust companies. So what I've made the decision to do, and I made this decision a long time ago, long before I was on YouTube and long before every business was asking for, the roundup thing. I take my own money and I donate it directly to the establishment that I want to have that money. I don't go through, I'm not going through the Red Cross. I'm not going through, like the Susan B. Komen Foundation or anything like that. I take my money and give it directly to the establishment. So I remember a few years ago, there was a natural disaster in Florida, and I wanted to help a local humane society that was rescuing dogs and cats from the homes that were flooded. So I went directly to that local humane society that was down there doing the work. I went directly to their website and donated directly to them. So I think it's, for me, it is entirely based off of trust, like this comment said. And I do agree that it's literally everywhere. And I do like donating and I do like giving back, but I also like to know where my money is going. So I just give it directly to the person that I want to have the money or the material items that I'm donating. Okay, someone was talking about TikTok. TikTok needs to be canceled. I know people make money from it, but canceled. Rug totally pulled out from under its feet. I think that TikTok is a double-edged sword. I think that there needs to be a lot of changes made to the platform. I don't see it going anywhere, but I do think that there needs to be a major overhaul done to the app. And someone said something about, I hate YouTube gurus. You know, the ones who have whole channels about how to make your channel explode in 20 days. They all want money for their classes. And the second unpopular opinion was, I hate narcissist self-help channels where it's obvious that the channel owner is the narcissist. All of these, I'm just not here for, like, I don't want to know the recipe to go viral in 15 days or anything like that. If there's one thing that I have seen during my time on YouTube, it's that you're either going to get into the algorithm or you're not. And if people like you, they're going to stay. If they don't like you, they're not going to stay. And you just have to let it happen organically. I know that a lot of people work really hard and they're very intentional, and it's like all designed so that they can hit this many subscribers by this date and they want this many views on this video. I understand that some of those people are also doing YouTube full time. So I'm in a completely different position, but I just always wanted it to be organic. I didn't want to force anything. I'm not going to beg for subscribers. I'm not going to push out a bunch of different streams of revenue on how people can give me their money. You're either going to stick around or you're not. I give my content to you guys for free, and if you like it, cool. If not, that's okay too. If you like it one day and not the next, that's okay. That's just what I'm doing here and what I've been doing for over 2 years. Someone said, I don't have Facebook or WhatsApp. I found them both annoying. I haven't had Facebook. Facebook is history to me. I don't know anything about WhatsApp. Chick-fil-A is overrated, and I don't understand the fascination with Teslas. Agree with both. Chick-fil-A is average at best. And Teslas, you could give me a Tesla and I would sell it. That's how much I can't stand Teslas. I'm sick of hearing about Colleen Ballinger. I think so. I think a lot of people are, especially those of us who knew who she was years ago. And now it's like people are like, oh my God, she's so bad. She's so bad. So I don't know. Someone said I don't like Barbie. Barbie is actually quite problematic. There's been some TikToks that I've seen going over old Barbies and some of the just really problematic Barbies that were released back in the day. Maybe I'll include a clip.
Totally Stylin' Tattoo Barbie came with her own body art, but parents worried this would encourage kids to make the impulsive decision to get a tattoo. In 2003, they made a romance Barbie and Ken. In partnership with a book called The Raider, I don't know what happens in the book, but I guess you could act it out with your Barbies. And their facial expressions are insane. They're very in love or on something. In 2018, Mattel released a line of inspiring women, which at first glance isn't controversial. But there was outcry against the Frida Kahlo doll because 1, they didn't ask her family's estate if they could have the image rights, and 2, many people felt like her appearance had been yassified because they removed her unibrow. The Mexican icon was also a lifelong communist, and you'd think she'd criticize the consumerism promoted by Barbie and Mattel. I feel like Mattel made the Barbie as a compliment to Frida Kahlo, but I do find it odd that they removed her most noticeable feature, the unibrow. Let me know what you guys think. Top Model Barbie came out in 2007, and I actually owned the redhead one. And I remember on her torso, her ribs were showing. And then in this photo, you can see how skinny their legs are. Not the best message to send to young girls. Video Girl Barbie came with a camera lens in her necklace and a screen on her back. You could record up to 30 minutes of footage and download it into a computer. This caused the FBI to release a warning in 2010 that the doll could be used to create inappropriate material involving minors. Mattel had to release a statement saying that there had been no reports of illegal activity involving the doll. People were freaking out over this doll. In 1993, Mattel tried to make King cooler by releasing earring Magic Ken. He came with an earring you could wear, but his appearance was rather flamboyant. He's now called Gay Ken, and they say that the ring on his necklace is a ring for down there. The public was immediately repulsed, and no more Gay Kens were sold after 1993. 1992's Teen Talk Barbie recited a variety of phrases like, "I love shopping." But she also said, "Math class is tough," which many feminists took offense to. They felt this would discourage girls from studying math. Mattel has since removed that phrase from her vocabulary, but I will say math class is tough. This pregnant Barbie doll from the Happy Family Barbie line had to be momentarily pulled from the shelves after pregnant Midge caused controversy. The doll came with a removable womb that you could pull a baby from, which looked so creepy. But even worse, she didn't have a wedding ring. And parents said this encouraged teen unwed pregnancy. So Midge was re-released with a wedding ring. Pregnant Midge is also going to be a character in the upcoming Barbie movie. In 1965, Mattel came out with Sleepover Barbie. She came with a scale set to just 110 pounds and a book on how to lose weight, and the only page said don't eat. Not a message you want to send to young girls, and what does that have to do with a slumber party? Mattel liked this book so much that it also came with Babysitter Barbie. And a 1995 study did connect Barbie's slim appearance with the development of EDs in children. In a partnership with Oreo, Barbie released Oreo Barbie. But they made one crucial mistake. By having a black Oreo Barbie, they were unintentionally referencing the racist phrase Oreo, which refers to a black person that acts white. But now the black Oreo Barbie goes for over $500. So Barbie has a sister named Skipper, and in the 70s they came out with Growing Up Skipper. It was like a puberty doll, and there was a mechanism that could make her grow taller, but her chest would also get bigger.
Because when you turn her arm, you can make her change instantly from a little girl to a tall, slender teenage doll, which is something you can't do. You can have fun with Skipper when she's little, then suddenly you can make her grow up enough to wear her glamorous teenage skirt.
I hate houseplants. I feel like they attract bugs. I would like to have houseplants, but I kill everything. Someone said I don't like Beyonce as a person. You know, honestly, I've never been a Beyonce fan, like a fan of her music, and I don't know a lot about her as a person. So I don't know. Sound off down below. What's the deal with Beyonce? But I'm also that way with like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. Like I don't look into these people because their music isn't for me. Like I don't like that kind of music. So I don't know. Alcohol should not be served at sporting events. People get completely out of control with alcohol, whether it's at sporting events or a bar or any kind of other event, a wedding, you name it. If alcohol is there and there is not a cap on how much these people are being served, just pure chaos. Pure chaos, drinking and driving, making fools of themselves, injuries. Yeah, it's a whole mess. So, okay, and the last one I'm going to talk about today is someone said, I don't like cars. Why can't everyone just take the subway? I think a lot of people do take the subway, but I also think that it depends, obviously, like where do you work? Where do you live? What's the mileage in between? What's your schedule like? I've done both. I've taken the subway and I've also done the commute. I understand the value of both sides. I think if people can take the subway, they should. But it all depends on their life and obviously what they have going on. So I might do a part 2 because there were a couple that I didn't get to, but I also didn't want this video to be an hour long. So maybe that will come up. And if you guys have any additional things that you want me to talk about, put them in the comments of this video. But that's going to be it for now. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.